Hi, my name is Kenneth, and thank you for joining me as I'm playing my own solo Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So if you haven't caught up, or if this is your first time watching me play, or maybe you haven't watched me in a while, I'm going through my own 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons adventure. I have made a character. His name is Ming Zao. He is a monk of the Way of the Open Hand of the Order of the Dragon. And so he is traveling on his own way. He's left the monastery where he grew up to continue his training out in the world, to do what he can to help others and to gain strength out in the world, and eventually come back to his home monastery to take on his master mano a mano, one-on-one, for the leadership of the order. Now, in order for that to happen, they was going to go out and get stronger. And so literally within first minute of leaving the monastery, things have gone to junk very fast. Things have gone very bad. But hey, that's what happens when you go on adventures, right? He went down to the village at the foot of the mountain where his monastery is, and where he's got a girl he's not supposed to like, but he likes, and she's there, and meets her. But before anything can even happen, place is surrounded by a horde of zombies, and so now he's got to figure out a way to help them, and he kind of holds them off and long enough for the local town guards to close up the walls of the village and close all the gates. Gets inside just the last second with other guards, and finds out that he gets his wounds patched up by his friend Leah, this girl he likes, and he's like, I gotta do something to save her. So he leaves the village to goes to his monastery, where he hopes that they will help him and come join the battle, but they refuse outright. And so, kind of not knowing where to go, he remembers hearing that his original place he was going to go was to a town on the coast. When he gets there, he meets just outside the town gates, right after sunset, right before dark. He meets Karvok, a dwarven traveling merchant that often came to the village at the foot of the mountain, where he met Ming and has been a part of Ming's life and for many years. And him and Ming have already a deep relationship, already a deep friendship. Ming tells him all that's happened, and he says, can he talk to anyone? Does he know anyone that could help? And he says he might, but that guy's a jerk. And we'll find out why today. So let's get into this now. Now, if you remember, we're using the Mythic GM Emulator system to help keep things moving along, right? And so one of the threads that we've had this entire time is, at least since we've got to the village at the foot of the mountains, to save the village. And that's definitely a thread we're still going to be following. We're also trying to save Leah. We want to make sure that she's safe from the zombies. But don't tell Ming she's been bit, and he doesn't know that. Not yet. And so we're not sure how that's going to work out. We'll worry about that much, much later when we get back to the village. And of course, right now, our main objective is to find help with the village. So with that said, let's continue on. The scene is this. It's the morning after Ming has got to the port town of Soldera on the coast. There, his hope is to find help. He meets his friend Karvok, and we're starting from there. Ming wakes up, and he's slept okay, just okay. He's thinking about Leah, and he did sleep because of the exhaustion in his body from fighting and traveling most of the day. But his heart is not rested. He wants to get back to the village as soon as possible. But he does wake up, and he smells the smell of some kind of sausage or something being cooked at the fire. It's quite welcoming. The morning's very chilly in the mountains here, and so he wraps his cloak around, and he steps outside. Around the campfire in the middle sits Karvok and another dwarf next to him, and they seem to be talking to each other in Dwarvish. And Ming knows Dwarvish, and he overhears them just talking about Ming's story a little bit, and then also talking about different news from the dwarves as well. And so as Ming walks up, Karvok looks up and says, you're awake. Good. I want to introduce you to this person next to me. Ming sits down at a log near the campfire and simply nods. He's kind of half asleep still, but he's slowly waking up. Karvok offers him a cup of some nice freshly brewed coffee, and he gratefully accepts. This is my nephew. His name is Modig. And then the other dwarf is a little bit taller, is actually much taller for a dwarf. He's about a whole head taller than Karvok, and his build is much leaner, much more slender than Karvok's, but still clearly the thick, sturdy frame of a dwarf. And so he's very much a dwarf. He's a dwarf that is normally above ground rather than underground, but still feels very comfortable in the mountains and in the stones. He's dressed in a military uniform, and so that is a unique part about him. He's dressed in a military uniform. This person is interesting. Now you may be wondering, where did I come up with this guy? Easy. I made him in between the videos. Just sometimes whenever you're doing this, if you like last time we rolled a random event to introduce a new NPC, this was the opportunity to do so. Karvok was already included in my list of NPCs, and honestly, a merchant's not really going to be useful right now, so I'm taking the opportunity to introduce an NPC, a more martial-focused NPC. Might be of help now. So, anyway, back to the story. So, the dwarf next to Karvok named Modig kind of straightens up and says, yes, my name is Modig Soldat, Lieutenant Modig Soldat. My uncle has told me a lot about you. He squares up Ming and he looks at him and he says, you do not look to be very strong. What is it? My uncle tells me that you wish to have me help you with some kind of martial matters. Ming's still groggy but drinking the coffee. Yes. Yes. A village at the base of the mountain where my monastery resides has been surrounded and is currently being besieged by the living dead, zombies. And I'll be honest, there's too many for me alone, maybe even too many for the guards there. We need outside help. They need outside help. Truth be told, someone I care about deeply is there, and I want to make sure that she is safe. Modig thinks for a moment. Why should I help you? I tend to think that helping the weak is just, it's a waste of time. It is a true waste of time because I'm a soldier and we have to make decisions based on the probable outcome in the battlefield. And right now, this does not seem like something, if I go to help you, it'd be me putting myself and maybe even my men in danger for this. Now at this point, Karvok kind of elbows him and says, behave. I'm sorry, my nephew is rude. I told you he was a jerk. He does not see value in other people unless they can prove that they're strong. Surely you can offer this. You can prove to him that you're worth helping. What must I do to prove to you that I'm worthy of helping you? I know. Let's eat breakfast, and then afterwards, show me your skill in a battle. We'll spar together. If you can show me that you are strong enough and land one good solid hit on me, I'll help. Otherwise, I have no interest in this. Fine, I'll do it. After we eat breakfast, I'll do it. So there seems to be an agreement at the table that after breakfast there's going to be a light sparring match. If Ming can prove himself strong enough, then he may be able to gain the trust and help of Modig. Now, before we get to that, we need to consult the chart, the fate chart. I forgot to do this earlier, and so we should consult the fate chart. Now, last scene, things did not go according to plan per se, but it also wasn't totally crazy. So we're going to bring the chaos back down to 5. Things were relatively in Ming's control. So let's see if this scene's going to play out the way I think it is, if there's going to be a sparring match or if something else is going to happen. Who knows? No, I got to get it in there. Oh wait, it's a 2, so it's less than 5, which means no, doesn't happen quite according to plan, and it's an interrupt scene. So let's see what the event focus of the scene will be. So we got 51. That's a new one. That's a moving away from a thread. So the thread that we're pursuing, the getting help for the village, or saving Leah, or saving the mountain village, one of those threads, I'm going to be taking a step further away from that. Ugh, that's not good. So let's figure out why I'm moving away from it. For our event meaning and the action, we have a much better 26. Procrastinate. Okay, so procrastinate, and then what is the subject of our scene? 3. Just 3. Procrastinate and environment. Procrastinate and environment. This is a land that is known for its extreme weather. It would be very difficult to get to the village right now if a storm were to hit. I think a storm's gonna hit. This isn't good. So, as they're eating breakfast, and they finish it and get cleaned up, Ming sees that Modig goes over to kind of another, on the other side of the camp. There seems to be a place where he slept in another wagon, and he pulls out a massive wooden sword. Obviously used for training. It looks heavier than normal. Getting hit by that wouldn't kill you, but it would still definitely hurt. Okay, so after breakfast has been eaten and everything's been cleaned away, Ming looks at the wooden sword going, oh, are you going to fight me with that? Of course. What else would I fight you with? You're not chickening out, are you? I won't help you if you're a coward. No, I'm not a coward, just I wasn't expecting that. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. Too bad. And so they go to a clearing across the road where there's ample space for them to have their combat. But at this point, all the different other merchants in that group are up, and they're fixing their own meals and things, and they're looking on with interest, but not really investment. This is kind of cool, but no one's really paying attention too much. Even the guards at the gate are kind of like, get a load of this. There's not much, like, this is not a main event. This is still early morning. Most people are still going about their business. Now, as they get to the other side, and Ming has a quarterstaff out, and he's going through warm-up motions and things like that. Off in the distance, they heard a, the rumble of thunder. Now, remember, our words were postpone and environment, and we're moving away from a thread. So this land is known to have extreme storms at a moment's notice, and they are very, very deadly. In fact, the people of this land, the many races, know and understand that when a storm hits, you gotta run away. And so, to hear that thunder off, everybody around it freezes. the sound you would associate with thunder rolling in. Dark clouds start coming up over the mountain and start descending down upon the small valley they're in. The situation has changed, and so now even Modig, who was excited for the chance to spar, was looking up at the sky, going, "We must postpone. This has become beyond dangerous." Ming looks up and agrees, "Yeah, this is not the time for this." At this point, all the merchants are quickly gathering all their stuff together, putting it back into the wagons. They're going to be going into the city to seek shelter somewhere there now. The gates leading into the town, the guards are going into and underneath into the walls and into the barracks there. The gates are going to be closed. It's time to hunker down. And so after Ming and Karvok and Modig Modig help Karvok get his things loaded into his wagon, and then they head inside. All the while, Ming is just, this is not good. This is taking me away from my purpose of even being here, was to get help for the village, and now it's another thing that's going to keep me from it. He's feeling the frustration. He's feeling the anger. Now here is a question for the fate chart. Will it be a short storm? Will it be a short storm? So our chaos rank is back down to 5. Last time things kind of went normal. So 5, I really don't know. It's 50-50. It could be either or. 47, that is a yes. So yes, it'll be a short storm. That's good to know. It's not going to be very long. And so when they get into the walls of the town, Karvok and Modig, guide the wagon and the 2 horses that are drawing it into a stable area where they unhitch the horses and take them inside somewhere where, again, they won't be spooked because of the storm. Ming is simply just waiting outside the stable area for them to come out. When they do come out, Modig motions for him to follow. Ming follows, and they go to a local inn and tavern. Now remember, Ming doesn't have any money. He knows that. Karvok knows that, but Modig does not. And so when they get to the inn, Karvok, just hand waves Ming and says, "I got it. I know. And Modig says, "You don't have any money of your own?" No, the monastery, we don't own our own things. I have rations and things, but I left those at the village last night. So how do you survive without money, without possessions, without things? Well, we wish to be detached from those things. We wish to be not held back by the concerns of the world. That's why we left the world. Yet you're concerned with saving others. Do you not see the problem there? Yes. Any other questions? No. But I seem to have touched a nerve. Can we just drop it? Okay. So going into the tavern, their night's stay pays for a meal and a place to sleep, no problem. But it's still in the morning, right? And so whenever they get there, the wind by this point is howling out in the streets. Everybody's hunkering down. Everybody is hunkering down for the day now. But again, this is only a short storm. So, Karvok holds off to buy a room and just gets them a meal and a table to sit at for the time being. While there, Ming figures this is a wonderful opportunity to maybe convince Modig to help him without a test of strength. Now, is that even possible? Is it even possible to convince Modig to help him without a test of strength? Let's find out. So, I think it's unlikely. He's made it very clear he only helps with those who can prove in their strength. So, Chaos Rank 5, unlikely. 28, that's a yes. Yes, it's possible to convince him of that. Now, how can we do that? That's a very good question. So, how can Ming convince Modig to help him without a test of strength? So in this moment, when I don't know what to do, I could do one of two things in the Mythic GM emulation system. The first is consult the fate chart again. I could simply ask yes or no questions until I get to a good point. Or I can think of it. I can make something up. When you're playing your own solo games, which I think you should, I hope you do, don't rely on the mythic. Don't rely on the fate chart. Don't rely on chance. Think of your own stuff as well, right? And so, I think based on Ming's character, based on who he is, you have to understand that some of his personality traits, right? His ideals are meddling in the affairs of others only causes trouble, clearly. But he's already said, yes, I'm going to do this, but it's proving it right for him. And so I think, based on his personality, of not wanting to meddle into the affairs of others, he understands Modig's hesitation. Even he doesn't want to do this, but he also wants to save Leah. It's the only thing that would keep him to do this, that would keep him on this path, is his connection to that girl. If she was not there, he probably would have left the village to its own devices long ago, after the initial zombie attack. So maybe if Ming can get to a pain point in Modig's life, maybe convince him that helping Ming will help him out somehow. So in order to do this, let's look at Modig's character as well. So his ideals, or he cares about his nation, his people. That's all that matters. The people he has sworn to protect. And so I wonder if that could be used against him. And then of course, let's go into it. Let's do this. Ming is going to roll a persuasion check. He's going to ask him, Modig, you seem very determined to only help those who are strong. Why? Normally the strong don't need to be helped. It's often the weak. Shouldn't you help those who are weaker? So he rolled a unnatural 20, so 17 plus 3. So 10 plus chaos factor, he's well over it. So yeah. Then Modig, it's a long story. Ming motions to the howling wind outside and the occasional thunder crash. We have time. Whenever I was still a young private in the army, in the merchant army, look, I don't want to, look, you don't have to tell me, of course, but it doesn't make sense why you would only help those who are strong. It just doesn't make sense. Fine. When I was a private in the merchant militia, we had to go to battles many times. You have to understand that back then there were constant raids of goblins from the desert, constant raid of other unsavory creatures from underneath the mountains, even roving bands of dwarves and bandits on the mountain passes. We were always in conflict, always in battle. Now, today, it's somewhat lessened as much because our strength and numbers have grown to be able to keep that suppressed. But in my very first battle, my maiden battle, I wanted to prove myself that my training had paid off. I botched it entirely, just completely messed it up. I made horrible tactical decisions, and on top of that, I let fear and desire not to die get the best of me. Ended up being to where I was saved in battle by my captain. My captain's name is Ivan Sano. He's the bravest man I've ever met, and the strongest too. he saved me. And after that battle, he took me under his wing. He brought me into his unit, into his outfit. And I've been training underneath him ever since. He has instilled in me a sense of that strength is what matters, and that it is there to help others. But we do not help people who do not help themselves. We do not help people that will get ourselves killed, because we have to keep ourselves alive. That's what it means to be strong. And so there are some people that we just can't help. And for me, that means if you're too weak to be able to actually help me help you, what's the point? I'm just going to die for a weakling. And that's no way to die. So after hearing that story, Ming gets he understands a bit of his reasoning, a bit of Modig's reasoning for doing that. But Ming is going to make an insight check to see if what he just said was the truth, or was he trying to hide something. Because I think Ming is thinking, yeah, that's great, but that doesn't really answer the question. So 16, 10 plus 5, 15, so he's over just a little bit. Ming says, look, I believe you, but surely you think helping the defenseless, helping those who don't have help, that's a good thing, right? Now, this is where I'm going to consult the fate chart again. Does Modig understand that Ming is trying to say that helping people, helping the weak is just as good as helping the strong? Does he get that? I think it's unlikely. So we'll roll for the unlikely table. That is a 94. Yeah, that's a definite, that's an exceptional no. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. Ming has been unsuccessful in trying to get him to see his way of thinking, seeing his way of reasoning. To Modig, if you're strong, he can help. But if you're weak, it's just too dangerous. He'll get himself killed. Now, at this point, the storm outside is raging. The wind is blowing. There's occasional crashes of lightning. The window shutters are going up and forth. But remember, it's going to be a short storm. It's not going to be a long one. And so let's roll a d4 to figure out how many hours this is going to last. 1 hour. So it's only going to last 1 hour. That's wonderful. So over the course of the hour where the storm is raging outside, Ming tries for the first 30 minutes his best to use all of his powers of rhetoric and reasoning to get Modig to help him without the test of strength. Modig, of course, wants nothing to do with that. Modig knows from his own past and from his own understanding of how the world works. He's helped people in the past who were too weak to help themselves, and it just didn't go well. He's going to stick by his understanding and his way of thinking. Nothing's really going to change that. So, when the storm finally... I'm sorry. 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes of that hour, Ming is just going to give up entirely and then go to a corner by himself and just meditate and think and focus his mind and his heart. While he's doing that, you're going to have Modig and Karvok talking. Uncle, I don't understand why you even brought me into this. Don't you know that I'm deploying in a couple weeks? I'd much rather enjoy my furlough time than go to fight someone else's war. I know, my boy, I know, and I understand, but he's a friend of mine and I can't help him. I'm too old. But you are still young and strong. It isn't like you're going across the continent to fight a foreign war. This would just be for a day, to help him thin the herd, to help keep him alive. It's to help not just him, but also to help the people of that village. They deserve help, and I raised you better than this. I know, Uncle. I do. But my gut tells me that helping this monk out will not lead to anything good. For me or for the people he's helping. Something just Something is not right. Maybe not about him, but the situation. My intuition says it's much bigger than this, and I'm worried about that. Ugh. You and that intuition. Listen, just help him. I'll help him if he passes the test. Not before. Of course. Do what you must and do what you think is right, my nephew. So they talk and exchange pleasant, they talk and do other things after that, more specific to family, nothing really important. Finally, the storm outside dies down, the wind dies down to a nice cool breeze. The clouds start to part ways, revealing the sunlight of the mid-morning, early afternoon. And it has that smell of being blown clean, blown away. No longer do the dank, stagnant smells of the air that's no longer there, and instead everything smells fresh and crisp and swept away. A wonderful opportunity for new beginnings. So whenever they went outside, Modig kind of elbows Ming and says, "Are you ready?" "As ready as I'll ever be." "What about your sword?" "It's okay. We'll go get it right now, but there should be an area there next to the stables for us to fight. I hope you understand. I'm not going to go easy on you." I understand. And neither shall I go easy on you." "Good. I wouldn't have it any other way." So they go back to the stables where the carts are located. Modig pulls his large training wooden sword out of the cart that's there. Then they go a little bit outside the gates to kind of the same similar area they were at before, where it's nice and open, clearing, plenty of space for them to fight. And yeah, so now begins the test of strength. Now, Modig didn't say that he had to be defeated, like knocked out, not like Master Da Long. Rather, this is a fight to first blood. This is as simple as who can bring someone down to a certain level. And so, let's roll for initiative. All right. So Ming, very good, rolls a 17, and yeah, this guy rolls 8. So Ming goes first. So Ming and are squaring each other up, circling each other. Ming occasionally switches grips on his quarterstaff, but he knows this isn't going to end unless he gets in there. So he's going to take off, grab his quarterstaff, two-handing it, and just boom, just do a quick wide arcing sweep. Let's see if he hits. Yep, this is going to be +6. That's 7 + 6. That is 13 against his 16 armor class. No. So he makes a huge sweeping arc, and it just bounces off of Modig's armor. Doesn't even chip him. Well, Ming's not going to take that sitting down, and so he is going to spend a key point to get Flurry of Blows action going in. So we get 2 extra attacks. Oh wait, one of them is a nat 20. You can see it for yourself. One of them is a nat 20. So that means that Ming is going to get a critical on that, but the other, as you saw, was a 3. It's definitely going to miss. So let's roll this critical damage. 2d4 + 4. Okay, so it's 6 + 7. That's 13 damage. All right. So not bad. And then, of course, now it's his turn. Ming is already right up in his face, going to town. So as Ming misses the first hit, he kind of does a quick spin, brings his heel up, and swipes at the neck of Modig, who quickly dodges out of the way. And then as he comes back to be ready in position, Ming just takes his offhand and bam, square in the nose. pushes him back. You know, he's got blood trickling out of his nose now. Yeah, good hit, but not quite good enough. All right, now it is Modig's turn. He's gonna take a swing at Ming with his wooden practice greatsword. It's going to miss. 13 AC is gonna miss as well. So he's got blood. He's cutting it out. He looks up. He brings his sword out. He brings it straight down, and then Ming easily sidesteps it. No problem. It's now Ming's turn. He's gonna attack again with his quarterstaff. Boom. Definitely hits. Not a natural 20, but definitely hits. 18 plus 6. That's 24. So we roll for damage. And it's a 1d6 plus 4. And he's using it two-handed, so that's a 1d8. Alright, so that's 6 damage. Modig's been brought down to about half health. He stumbles back after, Ming misses. After he misses his attack, he looks up to see Ming bringing the quarterstaff down and just, bam! Modig is kind of, oh, good. And then Ming kind of walks up and puts the quarterstaff right here at Modig's neck. And he says, in the most dramatic voice possible, yield. Does it work? I think most likely. Like, it's very, very likely that it will work. So very likely, Chaos Strength 5. Let's see. So 41 is a yes, and it's an exceptional yes. No, it's not. Sorry, it's just a yes. So it's a yes. It does work. At that point, Modig's like, blood's coming out of his nose and all kinds of other stuff, and he just drops the sword and kind of goes down to his knees and says, "You won. Fine." Ming has passed the test of strength. Okay, so I feel the need to defend myself a little bit. As you can see, that last fight was definitely, I was sleepy. I was so tired, and it definitely shows in the footage. So sorry about that. I will do better in the future to actually be awake when I'm trying to record. But still, as you can see, I was very tired. That's why I'm going to skip ahead now to the next day after the fight when I had my chance to rest. So please forgive me for that. Okay, we're back. So if you don't notice, I'm skipping ahead a little bit in time. That last fight didn't go as exciting as maybe you probably would have liked, or me. I probably should re-record it, but I'm going to choose not to, just because I want to move on with the story. I want to move on with things. But yeah, I was getting really sleepy last night. It definitely showed in the video after watching it now. But the point is, we're back now. Ming has bested Modig in the test of strength. Has him at the end of his staff. He says, "Yield." And Modig, blood, dripping out of his nose, he's not quite hurting, drops his practice sword again and says yes. So, the fight is over. Ming has passed. Modig is in there. Ming pulls his quarterstaff back and immediately says, "Here, let me help you." And Modig swipes his hand away. "I can do it myself." He reaches up and kind of just puts the cartilage back in its place. And he spits a little bit of blood out and he just kind of wipes it like this. Good job. I did not expect you to best me that way. No, it was difficult, trust me. I knew that if I got hit by that sword, it would be over. Seriously, one hit and I would not have lasted. I just got lucky is all. In my experience, luck is just as much as important as skill in the battlefield. Alright, as per our agreement, I'll help you. What? May I ask your name, though? I'm very sorry. We never quite exchanged names. I understand. I am Ming Zao of the Order of the Dragon. And you are? Lieutenant Modig Soldat. of the merchant militia. Monk Ming, you have my patronage, and you have my sword until you no longer need it, or until the task you have assigned for me is done. On my honor, I will help you. Thank you. It's a huge relief to know someone of your strength is on my side. Now, I hate to do this, but can we leave as soon as possible? The village has already been besieged under a whole night. I would hate for something to happen to them. I understand your impatience, but I must prepare myself for the journey. I know it's not very long, but I have to get my weapons and things prepared and my armor prepared. And I know that you're anxious to go, but we have to do this right. If we do this, we do this right. Understand? Yes, of course. I'll meet you back here in an hour and a half. Is that fair? Yes, of course. So at this point, Ming's going to grab his quarterstaff. Remember, he left all of his personal items at the village outside Leah's house. And so he doesn't have any of his personal stuff with him. Nothing to read, nothing to work on. And so he's ready. He's just going to sit and wait and meditate and think. He's probably going to take a short rest. So I'll give a short rest to him as well. While he's doing that, we're going to have Soldat. I like that name. Lieutenant Soldat. He is going to handle something else. So he's going to go and do something that he's getting ready his stuff. While he is getting his weapons ready, he's going to have one of his pages do that. He's a lieutenant. He's going to have someone else get his stuff ready. He's going to go to his captain's quarters. Now, his captain is someone that is very honorable, someone who understands Modig's motivation for living and things for doing things. So Modig goes to his captain, to the barracks where his captain is staying. He does the whole pleasantry, the military, salute, whatever they do. Goes in and immediately talks to his captain. Captain Sano, I've been tasked with something that I would like your opinion on. Speak. What is it? A monk, a traveling monk from the Order of the Dragon up in the mountains. He's come to our town requesting help. He's passed my test of strength. I trust him. He is strong. I have said I will help him, but it sounds like I might need help. I cannot do this alone. It's, the village at the foot of his mountain is being besieged by the living dead. I know the village well. Yes, I know the village well. We get people from there. We trade with them often. Should we? I want to help. Of course. Take a detachment with you. Just a small group, no more than 10. Help them. Be careful. I think you know now the living dead are not to be trifled with. Yes, Captain. I will do that. Thank you, sir. Oh, and you understand this is work, right? Yes. And it doesn't add to your furlough. I know. Fine. Do it. Make it done. Thank you, sir. He salutes him and he walks out. He gathers 10 men that he trusts, 10 men that he knows are strong and dependable, and brings them with him. Ming is sitting outside, meditating and thinking about the tenets of his order and the teachings that he has to think about. When he sees, as he's coming out of the village, the town gates, Modig, and behind him are 10 heavily armed soldiers, and his spirits lift. He is so excited. Now, fate chart time. Here's the question. Now that there's more of them traveling, can they make it in the 3 or 4 hours it took Ming to get here, or is it going to take longer? So can they make it in 3 or 4 hours? It's 50-50. Actually, I think it's unlikely. So chaos rank is at 5. We're at 45. That's a no. So, yeah, 45 is a no. So they're not going to be able to make it, and they're going to get there. They're leaving about midday, so they're probably going to get there at about the time when evening, about just as the sun is setting. And so we're going to end our scene there for now. With everything happening, Ming has got 11 heavily armed soldiers to come and help. This is very good. So we'll end it there, and yeah, I hope that you're enjoying these little solo sessions of mine. Again, honestly, I don't care if you are. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I think it's fun. If you're enjoying it, awesome. Like, comment below. Let me know how boring it is. Let me know what I can do better, how I can make things better. I don't know. I'm doing this for me and for fun. But still, I hope that you are enjoying the story and following along with our little monk Ming, who seems to only do well when it really, really doesn't matter. But, all right, with that said, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.